Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Speaking Nerd Podcast, the place to talk about all things comics, movies, TV, video games, and everything nerdy. So, today is Thursday at the time of this recording, and not only that, but it
Because
is
it's
also
Thursday.
it is Thursday, and it is also the release of Zack Snyder's Justice League, which so far, you know, everybody's been liking on Twitter. I still haven't seen it yet because I need to find the login and password for Craves. So um, probably gonna watch it this weekend. But uh, Swifty and AJ, they've already watched the movie and they
hmm
seem to enjoy it. So
I loved it.
yeah,
Yeah, I enjoyed it as well. Do you want us to talk about, I guess, like kind of our initial thoughts on the movie? Because I can't give a full-fledged review. I'm gonna have to watch it
yeah,
probably a second time.
yeah. We'll just for right now. Let's do just general impressions. We'll get into spoilers next week for that
Yeah, because
podcast.
a lot of people haven't seen it yet
Yeah.
anyway.
So we'll
I mean, it's the day of,
we'll give it
Yeah,
some time, and by next week, I'm sure a lot more people will have watched it by then. So just
and
general
we can
thoughts.
just give a spoiler warning then.
Well,
what
yeah,
next week? You mean?
for next week, not
Yeah,
not now, but like
Yeah, I
just
said then,
okay,
as in meaning another time.
okay, all right.
okay.
Well, okay. Uh, general thoughts. What do you guys think?
AJ, you can go
Brilliant.
first.
It was brilliant. I, I did. I mean, it blew my expectations
Yeah, I
because
it did
I
blow my
honestly,
expectations.
I honestly didn't know what I was gonna watch because I mean, as I said in a video I was doing with Marvel yesterday, I'm not the biggest fan of Man of Steel.
Mm-hmm.
Really, I'm a big fan of Man of. Well, I'm not a big
I'm
fan. I'm a fan of Man of Steel.
I'm like it's pretty good. There's just some parts that bother me,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and it. I mean, this has to be Zack's best film, period.
Well,
And
no, go ahead.
uh, I mean, it was so beautifully shot,
Yeah, it was.
and the music was great. The acting from all the main actors in it were great. Dark Side Dark Side was really well done. So was Steppenwolf. He doesn't look terrible anymore.
Actually, Steppenwolf was one of my favorite characters of the whole movie. Um,
Yeah, he was great.
yeah, I mean, he actually like had um, motivation,
hmm
and like I actually at one point in the movie, I was actually like I felt bad for Steppenwolf, like just because of how much backstory. I mean, it's not like overwhelming backstory, but it's enough to where you understand why he is fueled with this rage and this like yearning to kind of conquer
Yeah,
planets.
he's not a basic bad guy.
No, he wasn't like I don't know. I'm trying to think of an example, but I won't because it'll take too long. But
Yeah.
yeah, he wasn't like a standard superhero villain. Um, Darkseid was like great for the limited time we saw him.
Mm.
Yeah, I
He
hope we get a sequel so we can see more of him.
well, I was saying that earlier. Is like I think that this movie was actually like so much better than what everybody thought that it would actually be a disservice to not make Justice League 2
hmm
um, because it's like this it ends with us. It's basically like saying, "Here you go, guys. Like, let us know that you want the second movie because we all know that's what you want."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's how the movie ended, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And this is spoiler free, but the ending was really well done.
yeah. I
Um,
mean, that was one of the best superhero movie endings.
yeah, and the chapters it makes it a lot more easy to watch. It
Yeah,
kind of like makes you forget it's 4 hours and 2 minutes. Um,
I
because it's
really
kind of
like
like
that.
these mini breaks. Um, but yeah, the
Well,
movie was really good. The the color scheme of the film was like really
hmm
beautiful.
It wasn't like it wasn't either end of the spectrum of like comic book movies, you know, really gray bland, or the uniform MCU style.
Yeah, it was like in between those.
And that's what makes it so great.
There was scenes though that I will say that I was actually surprised they were Zack Snyder's and not Joss Whedon's, which is not good in my opinion, because you know that I'm I'm trying to think of like one of the scenes where like he cracks a joke or something.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they did get rid of a lot of that crappy, like really bad, like stale humor from
And
Justice League.
they had fluid comedy that I really
Well,
liked.
Flash's comedy was like meant for Flash, so it made sense. And it was not as cheesy as in the normal one. And the stuff that was actually funny from Flash in the theatrical cut was all Zack Snyder stuff anyway. So it wasn't really a big difference. But there was a couple moments where I looked at it and I was like, that was a little weird. I thought it was Joss Whedon's, and I was surprised that it was Zack Snyder's. But
Yeah.
For the most part, like there was nothing in the movie that I felt was like really badly done. Obviously, like every 4 hour long movie, there's a little bit of filler here and there, but
Yeah.
you know, it wasn't bad at all. Like it was very minimal. So yeah, that's my thoughts. I thought it was great, and it
I
deserves
love that.
Justice League too.
I love that Flash and Cyborg actually got to be fleshed out.
Yeah, and they were friends. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my thought.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it gives me hope for, you know, whenever I get around to watching it for myself. I'm probably going to do like a double viewing, but
Yeah, I'm rewatching it tomorrow with my dad.
yeah. But before we talk about the future and all that stuff, I thought it'd be fun for this episode, you know, to just kind of take a look back at, you know, the DC extended universe as it was, and also around the end talk about our hopes for the DCEU itself, not like projects like the Batman and all like solo stuff, but like just the main universe itself, and you know how we're gonna feel about it coming forward. But since we're looking back, we're gonna go all the way back to 2013. You know, the Dark Knight trilogy was finished. You know, Marvel just put out the Avengers, and you know they were doing their whole second phase that year. But also, DC was getting their hat into the ring with the whole cinematic universe, and you know they approached
Twice.
Yeah.
Arrowverse and DCEU.
Yeah. But
at the same time.
But yeah, I guess they called up Zack Snyder. They're like, "You want to make a Superman film?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure." So, through his vision, we got Man of Steel, which I will say is fine. It's not terrible. It's not great. It's just, for me, it's kind of in that middle point where it's serviceable.
Maybe like a 5 or 6.
Yeah, somewhere around there. But what about you guys? AJ, why don't you start off your overall thoughts on Man of Steel?
I think Henry Cavill's a really good casting for Superman.
Yeah.
He really looks the part, and I think he's a really good actor.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, especially when I watched Mission Impossible Fallout, he's great in that. And I think the fight scenes are really well done in this. I really like the first half with his origins, except for Pa Kent, because that's bad.
Yeah.
I don't like Pa Kent at all in this movie.
Yeah.
Because he's kind of a sociopath. The way he talks to Clark.
Yeah, Pa Kent.
Oh.
He's like, you know, you should have let those kids die.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We'll get into it more with negatives, because that's definitely like a negative for me too.
But
But
I think it's just it's a pretty solid film. Uh, the I mean the fight scenes are really good. I Yeah, it's just a solid film.
okay. What about you, Swifty? Thoughts on Man of Steel?
Um, I'm a fan. I mean, I'm not like I didn't love it, but I like it a lot. Um, Mostly because of its atmosphere, um, casting, and fight scenes.
Mm-hmm.
I think that all that was really well done. Um, and I think it was a good movie to start off the DCEU, at least Snyder's portion of the DCEU, or what was supposed to happen, or whatever it was. I don't know, but
Yeah.
I mean, connecting I think there's a huge connection between Man of Steel and the Snyder Cut, definitely because this isn't really a spoiler. It doesn't say anything about the plot or anything. It's just I felt like a lot of parts in the Snyder Cut were very, very heavily influenced by Man of Steel, atmosphere wise. And there's even callbacks to the music from Man of Steel,
Mm-hmm.
uh, which I liked. And I think it was cool to do that. Um, but Man of Steel is not like one of the greatest superhero movie ever made, but it's definitely a good superhero movie.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just very very middle of the road. But uh, before we get into negatives, which I'm sure for this and the next movie we're going to talk about, there's going to be a ton of them. But I just wanted to start off with the positive aspects because I thought like for the most part, even though some characterizations are really bad, I thought casting for the most part was actually pretty good. Um,
I
like
thought Michael Shannon was really good.
I really like Michael Shannon. Like even though he's basically chewing up the scenery every time he shows up,
Yeah.
like he's just a blast to watch. And
Yeah, I think he plays a really great Zod.
mm,
I think he's one of the highlights of it.
yeah, like he's definitely like for me the standout as like one of the best things about the movie. But
hmm
um,
Kevin Costner is a really good casting, but Paul Kent is not good.
yeah, but yeah,
I mean, and Amy Adams is a great casting for Lois too,
I
as well
like
as Henry Cavill for Superman.
I like Lawrence Fishburne as Perry White also. You know, we don't really get to see a whole lot of him, but like when he shows up, like he does a really good job. Um,
I think he definitely should have got more screen time in Man of Steel and BVS.
mm-hmm.
He had a bit more in BVS.
Yeah, a little bit, but other positives I want to mention, CGI for the most part looks good.
hmm
The score is fantastic. I love the score to Man of Steel.
Yeah, Hans Zimmer made. I mean, Hans Zimmer is a legend.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely. Besides Michael Shannon, I would say like the score itself is, one of
Oh,
the best
also,
things about it. But
also Russell Crowe is really good as Jor-El.
I like Russell Crowe. Like, when he shows up, he's okay. But uh, I like that we get you know, we get a little bit more time on Krypton.
hmm
See the kind of wildlife and how everything works, and it's pretty interesting stuff. I gotta say, but um, but as for negatives, though, like yeah, like I said, characterization is it's not great, especially with Pa Kent. Holy
He's
shit,
a sociopath.
basically.
Clark, you should have let those kids die. Well, also, I'm gonna go into this tornado now. Don't save me. Don't save me.
Yeah, yeah,
It's probably gonna give you some emotional scarring. but don't save me.
Yeah, it's very weird what they did to Pa Kent. And
Also, like, his death goes completely against the point of his death in the comics and in most Superman media. The point of him dying of a heart attack is to show that Superman can't save everyone.
mhm. And then in this, like, he could have saved him
Yeah,
at
he could
any
have saved
point.
him
Like,
easily.
and he's just like, no, son, let me die in this tornado.
Pointlessly.
Yeah, and let your mother watch. It's
Hmm.
just it's terrible. I mean, also, like, besides Pa Kent, like, Superman 2 is like really.
He's like middle for me.
It's just he doesn't really feel like Superman at all. I mean, that point is pretty much set in stone when he kills Zod at the end, which,
Hmm. Like, why?
yeah.
The point of Superman is that he's kind to everybody. He gives everybody a chance, and he doesn't kill people.
Well, Superman kills people.
Yeah,
Superman doesn't have a no-kill rule.
I mean, that's for that though. That's more of a last resort type thing, but not like he's not
Yeah.
really.
He rarely does it.
He's not murder
Yeah, but, like,
savvy.
Yeah,
He,
but like, do you guys not support him killing Zod over what he was doing?
I do not.
Well, he could have like done it like he could have handled it much better than what he did in the movie. Like,
Well, I mean, like, look, those people were about to die. I don't even know. Did they end up dying? Because we don't
No.
see them after that.
No,
they're not.
I mean, like, think about this. If this exact situation was playing out on like Smallville, you know what Clark would do?
What?
He'd speed and grab the citizens that he was about to kill, and then he'd punch Zod,
That is Smallville.
which is superior.
I disagree.
That
But
hurt me.
I know it was meant to hurt you.
Superman
Still think
Returns is a piece of shit.
Superman Returns is better than Man of Steel. I said it.
I disagree, but that's a topic for another day.
Yeah, guys, I'm gonna have to leave this podcast.
Superman Returns is by no means a perfect Superman movie, but I think it gets Superman
Jared
than
Leto could
Man
play
of
a
Steel
better
does.
Superman. than
If
the
there's
guy who played
anything
Superman
I can
in
give
that
Superman Returns credit for, Kevin Spacey as Lex Luthor, but that's it. Everything else, like, fucking
Okay,
terrible.
Brandon Routh is the perfect casting. Just saying.
in Crisis, but not in his own movie.
Well, I mean, that's not his fault. It's the director's fault.
No.
Well,
Yeah.
moving on.
Yeah. Any negatives you want to point out, Swifty, before we move on?
No, just I agree with everything you guys said. I mean, the characterization is really weird. I don't know. Zack Snyder, I think, in that movie tried to do something that in his head maybe worked, but on the screen it didn't completely work. So that's how I feel about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just it definitely has its entertaining points, but overall it's just very meh. Nothing really too memorable about it, but well. All right,
I just realized that I watched all of these movies in theaters.
I saw Man of Steel on a school field trip.
Wow, why?
I don't know.
What school does that?
Well, it was just, I don't know. It was just kind of like an end of the year thing, and they were like, you can either watch Monsters University or Man of Steel. I'm like, fuck Monsters. I'll watch.
You should have watched Monsters University.
Yeah. No. I mean, I have seen it since then, and it is good. But
Yeah,
okay.
it's a solid animated movie.
All right, so Man of Steel came out, and then that same year at Comic Con is when we first got our confirmation of like a semi sequel, but instead it's just kind of its own thing.
Thing.
Yeah.
It's something.
But yeah, we found out that Batman was going to be in the movie, and we were all excited. And then they told us who was playing Batman, and everyone hated it.
I didn't.
Me neither. I actually
I love
didn't
Ben
hate on it.
Affleck because Ben Affleck's a legend.
Well, it wasn't even that I liked him at that point. It was just because I didn't really know much about him, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna give this new guy a chance. You know.
Yeah, I didn't see what was wrong. I mean, he looks like Batman.
I think at
Yeah.
that point, like his like most of the films he was in wasn't very good, and like
But Chasing Amy.
Chasing Amy, Gone Girl, The Town, like all those movies were critically acclaimed, and he was like lead role in it.
yeah,
But like that was just why I like looking back on it. I was like, man, it's weird that they were like so against him.
what's
Because
it?
like
Yeah,
leading up to
I
that,
mean,
he had been in some really
the
like
fans do
blockbuster
it.
hits.
The fans do it pretty much every time. When Michael Keaton was announced as Batman, they freaked. When Ben Affleck was announced as Batman, they freaked.
Robert
Well, it's the
Pattinson.
When
same
Robert Pattinson was announced as Batman, they
Oh
freaked.
yeah. And we all saw how that ended up at DC
Mhm.
fandom. Everybody was like, "Holy shit, that's incredible!"
It's like, I can't wait for it now.
All great casting.
But yeah, the years went on. We got some, bits and pieces here and there. We knew that Wonder Woman was going to be in the movie. Lex Luthor was also going to be in the movie, and literally right before it came out, that final trailer, we knew that Doomsday was going to be in the movie, and it ruined everything. But
It did. It really ruined everything.
but then the movie came out, and it's a mixed bag, or at least for me, because there's some stuff that I like about it, like Ben Affleck's performance, and also like Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, but like everything else is either weirdly underwhelming or just a strange decision overall. But
There's a lot of things I like, but there's there's also a good amount of things that bother me.
Well, would you say that for both of you, would you say it's like 60-40 with like, do you dislike more stuff or do you like more stuff about the film?
I think I probably like more stuff. I mean, the main thing that bothers me is Superman's characterization and the fact that Batman kills.
Well, yeah, the fact that's what I don't know. I can never get over that Batman killing. Like it's really hard.
Those are just the two big ones.
Like if he actually justified it, or at least tried to, with like something that happened, or like explain with backstory, like why he was in that place, I would have at least like respected it a little more. But like he was just cold cocking people.
What I would have done is that he's getting more brutal, but he hasn't killed yet, and Superman is the first person that he's allowed himself to kill. I think that would be a lot more compelling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
I would say that
when he goes to kill him, and yeah, I think there's a lot more to like than dislike.
Like I'll say, like, honestly, I mean, it's obviously like looking, rewatching and looking back and stuff. It has some pacing issues, which is actually my main problem with the movie, is the pacing.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
but, I actually love BVS. Like, I think if it was like completely done like perfectly, like, let's say theoretically Batman didn't kill, the pacing wasn't off, or at least off as much as it was, and the characterization was a little bit better, then I think it could have been like Dark Knight tier, like if it was like everything it should have been, but it wasn't. So we'll never be able to know. But I still love BVS because it's like one of my favorite Batman adaptations, apart from the killing. I love the like darkness of Ben Affleck's Batman and the performance and just his hatred for Superman and
I think he
you
plays
know
the best Bruce Wayne.
I think he plays the best Bruce Wayne and Batman. Um, I think because because the killing was not Ben Affleck. That was
Yeah.
Zack Snyder. But I thought that one of my favorite DCEU moments or like DC movie moments of all is literally the party scene where he's Bruce Wayne.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I love that.
like that was because it's such a good Bruce Wayne. Like he looks like a 42-year-old Bruce Wayne,
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
and damn, he looked so good in that movie. Like he
Yeah.
was just so fit. Um, and that's why I think I compare his like look in Justice League to BVS because it was like such a downgrade, not just like suit wise, but like physique wise. It was like really weird. Like he just looked totally different.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like Ben Affleck was great. I think he plays like a really good Bruce Wayne, and he definitely like understands Batman more than Zack Snyder does. But
Yeah,
um, I mean, also like he gets a great costume, and you know, all the most of the elements of what makes Batman good are there, but it's just like it's tainted by the fact that literally every scene that he's in, or just about every scene that he's in, where he's fighting bad guys, somebody always, gets killed, whether it's indirect or completely intentional. Right.
Also, you know what's never made sense to me? How can he kill all of these goons left and right, but Joker's still alive?
Yeah.
But like why?
actually, I
That
never thought
doesn't,
about that.
that doesn't make sense.
No, that's like actually kind of retarded. Like that's stupid.
I
Now
mean,
that I'm thinking about it,
Joker would be the first one to kill
yeah,
because he killed Robin.
Yeah.
that's so stupid. Now that I'm thinking about it, Zack Snyder, like, come on, bro.
Mm-hmm.
He did come back with
That
the Snyder.
that doesn't save him from what he did with BVS.
Definitely.
It saves him from Justice League, but not BVS.
I think he's coming out with a new version of BPS, like releasing
No,
it
that
in theaters.
that already. Remember that we already got the Ultimate Edition, which was literally the director's cut
I heard about it. He said he's releasing a new version in theaters.
in theaters.
Yeah.
Well, I remember he said something about, you know, putting it out again with that new aspect ratio, but I
Oh
don't
yeah,
remember anything else about
remastered.
it. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's all that's pretty much going to be is just like, maybe, that aspect and maybe some visuals get cleaned up a little bit. Like,
Also, take out the thrown in setting up the universe stuff.
yeah, that,
Well, I mean, actually, it's out today. It came out today, along with um, the Snyder cut.
huh,
Oh, that's cool.
It's just the Ultimate Edition, just like kind of like refurbished, like
okay.
different kind of like different atmospheric graphics or whatever.
I haven't watched through the Ultimate Edition yet.
I'm interested to like know exactly what the differences are.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be anything substantial, but, um,
Yeah,
well, for the people who do
yeah, it's
watch it,
just enhanced
prove me
color.
wrong in the comments. Um,
I didn't enjoy the theater experience watching it.
Oh, me too. Yeah.
I still have this big cup from the theater with Batman and Superman on it,
Yeah, I
which
have
I
a
drank
poster.
which I drank from today when I was watching uh, Zack Snyder Justice League.
my theater experience, from what I remember, was very like it wasn't anything exciting. It was just more. It was more fun walking out of the theater, hearing other people's reactions, because most of the part, most of them were just going like, "What the fuck did I just watch?" Um, yeah, I mean, for me, it's just like the negatives slightly outweigh the positives, and like, it's kind of hard to go back to. You know, like pacing is pretty bad. Like it fucking drags on in that middle section, and then by the time the big showdown happens for all of 4 minutes, like it just is like lightning fast. You know, you get to the Doomsday fight, Superman dies, and then like it's the end of the movie. So um,
Yeah.
it's very strange, but yeah um it's yeah, that whole setup stuff for like the the rest of the universe, like I get it, like you want to compete with Marvel, but like the movie's like crammed enough as is, and I feel it just I feel it would have been better for they just did the whole solo movie thing. Have Flash be his own movie, Aquaman be his own movie, Cyborg. You can probably just put him in Justice League, and you know, you know that would be enough. But um,
Yeah.
it's just way too much for what they were already trying to do. So
Hmm.
yeah, but
It was still a fun movie.
yeah, overall, like pretty, like it's an interesting piece of superhero movie media, but yeah,
It was really cool to see Superman and Batman on the big screen.
it was, yeah.
It was just it was kind of like most people were expecting like them to have like multiple fights, um, which I think would have been awesome.
Hmm.
But the only thing is like I didn't base my whole experience on watching that over like being disappointed there was only one like 10-minute fight, because I think that it goes deeper than physical fights. It's like a fight of like sort of morality
Hmm.
and how they view the world around them, which I think is even bigger than a physical fight. But still, I mean, I would have liked to see more fight scenes with Batman and Superman, but it's not like something that, like, for me personally, it's not something that like ruined my experience, because
Yeah,
I met some people like who didn't like it for those reasons.
it's like I wasn't expecting a huge like multi-fight sort of thing. Like I was expecting them to pretty much do what they did in the movie anyway, like, just kind of have brief interactions between the two of them, and but
Yeah.
yeah, it's just it's a very weird and complicated set of circumstances, but
Hmm.
so I guess that's pretty much it for this one. I guess we should just move on to the other movie that came out in 2016, and boy, does it not hold up after rewatch. Um,
Nah,
I
it
mean,
doesn't.
yeah, but, yeah. So we got Suicide Squad, and it's
Oh boy.
terrible. It's awful. It is like it's borderline unwatchable.
Are we done now?
I agree. I agree with that. Like
It's
there's
absolute
parts that,
trash.
dude, I am not a believer in the Ayer cut either. Like I believe it probably exists,
But I
but
don't care.
yeah, me neither. It was probably still trash.
Yeah, no,
I
it
mean,
was.
I just don't think Air is that good.
That's the difference between like the Snyder cut and the Ayer cut is Snyder literally got his film like ripped away from him
Mhm.
without his consent. But the Ayer cut, whereas sure the studio probably like switched decisions and stuff for him, they didn't have a completely new person come in and like completely change everything and rip all his footage out.
No, they.
Also,
It's
they
not
didn't. Also, they didn't take advantage of him right after his daughter died.
right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not a believer. I'm not a believer in the Ayer cut, and I don't think I ever will be. It's like,
The
oh
James
well,
Gunn
Jared
Suicide
Leto's
Squad
performance was so
is gonna be
great.
so much better.
I hope so. But yeah, it's
It,
just
it,
it's
it's
no,
James Gunn.
it's one of those things where they had the final product, which could have been you know mediocre at best, and then the studio, like, because of the reception to Batman v Superman, they decided to change things around and basically you know make it fun and lighthearted,
But
which didn't
it's not
work.
that fun.
No. If anything, if I can give the movie credit anywhere, like, I like some of the members of the squad. Like, I really like Will Smith and Margot Robbie. Surprisingly, I
They're,
liked Jack Courtney more
they're,
than I thought I
they're
would.
solid actors.
Yeah,
Just the movie surrounding them's not good.
yeah, yeah. That's true. But pretty, I don't think there's really anything else we can say about it.
So
But,
is Suicide Squad non-canon now?
well, they didn't say that. Uh, I don't know.
I think I'm just gonna in my own head, it's not canon.
Well, I'm struggling to see, like, is the Suicide Squad like a sequel, or is it like kind of like redoing the Suicide Squad
I
like
think it
movie
might
formula?
I think it might be like a spiritual sequel.
Yeah, yeah. I think, yeah, that's pretty much what they're gonna do. Is they're not gonna forget about it completely, but, like,
But they're gonna forget about most of it
yeah,
because that's what's not good.
yeah. So, I mean, yeah, they're probably still gonna acknowledge it, but, like, it's pretty much, you know, you know, dead. um, um, okay, I guess, yeah, we got nothing really else to say about it. So let's move on to Wonder Woman, which is still pretty good. I mean, for the first two acts, the third
But
act
the
is,
the third act is bad.
oh, it's bad. Like,
Like they did give some information about why it's bad. You want to know who came in at the last second and changed the third act?
Who was that? Jeff Johns?
Jeff Johns.
I can't stand Jeff Johns. In the DCEU, I mean, I can't stand him.
He makes good comics.
yeah, he's a great, like, writer, but, like, he's not.
Not for film.
No,
For
no.
he was the reason. Like, I mean, he was the reason Justice League failed. I mean, it was his input that Joss Whedon should take over, and, like, he gave Joss Whedon more creative freedom.
Yeah,
I think Jeff is more suited for TV.
Or just comics.
yeah, I'd say just comics. Like,
But
I mean,
Stargirl's great. Just saying.
yeah, he really did a number, and also, like, the studio themselves, like, I mean, they're part of the reason why these movies didn't really do all that great is because they got cold feet and decided to change things and alter
Yeah, which
stuff.
they always do.
Yeah,
That's what they did with the Burton movies.
they did that for X-Men Origins Wolverine. I remember they fucked over that movie really hard.
That's what happens with superhero movies, like, all the time.
Yeah, but it's even more, like, worse in this case, like, because you're trying to you're trying to do this whole cinematic universe stuff, and you want these directors to have their creative input, but
But you don't want it at the same time.
yeah, it's like you don't, yeah, so, but yeah, Wonder Woman, like, great stuff, like, Gal Gadot's
Everything-
great.
Everything is great till the ending.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty much my whole thing about the movie too. It's just like that third act, like, really killed it.
Yeah.
And it's so sad because, like, everything leading up to it was, damn near perfect. Like,
I mean, I'm not calling for like a new, like a hashtag. Wait, what's the name of the director?
Patty Jenkins.
Hashtag Jenkins cut. But is there any way we could get, like, just an edited version with the original ending?
If it even exists.
If it even exists,
I doubt it does. I'm guessing like
I think
Johnny
this is a
like
possibility.
switched the writing and just wrote over the original ending. It was like, yeah, we're not filming this. We're gonna do my version.
I feel like there's like she had it in the pitch, and then WB was just like, "Oh, can you change the ending to this?" Like I think like we think it would work better, and
Yeah, because only CGI finds work
yeah.
for an ending of a superhero movie.
Fuck Ares.
Yeah, that was. And it was so weird, like who
It completely
Ares was.
it completely defeats the purpose of the entire message of the movie.
Yeah.
The whole time it's like, you can't stop a war by killing this one guy. And then she stops a war by killing this one guy.
Yeah, for a reveal like even the reveal like there was basically no setup to him whatsoever.
And if all you need to do is kill this god so humans can be good, I mean that trivializes evil.
Yeah, it's just like
I mean, human
shouldn't
beings suck. We don't suck because of some guy called Ares, whatever.
yeah.
It's just it's dumb.
Yeah.
The rest of the movie's great.
Yes. That
One of the best DC movies if you don't look at the ending.
yeah, that moment in the trenches is like one of my favorite moments ever in the DCEU. I love it so much.
Or like a superhero movie, period.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just iconic.
Swifty, do you have anything else to add?
No.
Okay.
Third act sucked.
I think we could all agree on that one.
Okay. All right. Well, next movie. So,
What is
geez.
after that? Oh, Justice League.
Oh boy. 2 words.
Is there even a point? Because you know what?
It's a piece of garbage.
See, I saw something today. It was like, it said the director's cut of Justice League is finally here. Bro, this is not the director's cut. This is the movie. This is what Justice League is. This is not a director's cut. This is Justice League.
Was the director's cut.
Right, Justice League.
It's not a very good one.
Truly terrible.
Well, let's talk about Joss Whedon's atrocity. Because he can't direct for shit anyway.
Yeah, we gave
because the only reason that both Avengers movies
we
were good.
We gave Suicide Squad a mention, so I figured we should at least talk about this one. I mean, we have more to say on this one.
I don't have much to say. All I will say is it is the worst thing that's ever happened to Batman since George Clooney. And
at least Batman and Robin is enjoyable.
Well, it's enjoyable because of how bad it is.
Yeah, I mean,
but Justice League is so bad it's actually unbearable.
I mean, there's like a meter of superhero movies. There's like so great it's great. Then there's so bad it's good.
Well, this one,
and then in the middle you have Justice League, which is so terrible. You can't
People who
watch
defend this movie need to go to like hell.
People who defend this movie should,
That's harsh. No,
goodbye,
I don't want them to go to hell.
Goodbye. Never come again.
It's such a
like how can you defend this movie?
Yeah, there's
even if you don't know about the drama behind the scenes, it's terrible.
Yeah, there's.
Well, you know what's funny? Oh no, go ahead, Marvel.
I was just gonna say that, like, I've rewatched this recently, and there's nothing redeeming about it whatsoever.
Yeah, it's really not.
But anyway, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say it's funny to me. Like, it actually made me laugh yesterday because I was reading a review on the Snyder Cut, and it was basically this chick who was like shitting all over it, and people traced back her review of Justice League, and she was like, "It's a really good movie." And I'm like, no shit, you're a fucking idiot, dude. If you say Justice League is better than the Snyder Cut, you're actually just a retard.
And
There's no way around it.
if you say it's a good movie, you have no taste. You should never have the good thing of watching a movie ever again, because you don't deserve it. You don't deserve it.
Yeah.
It was just so bad.
But yeah,
It- I-
just
It's one of the worst things I've ever seen.
but yeah, just
Yeah, I
getting
agree.
into it a little deeper. Like I gotta say, like Steppenwolf in that movie is probably one of the worst villains in all of comic book movies.
I mean, he looks terrible.
Yeah.
He's written terrible. Everything terrible.
He's just boring. Like, just
Also, we have to mention Superman's upper lip. Mm, why?
the true villain of the movie.
The true villain, besides Joss Whedon.
Oh my god. Yeah, that. It's sad when people doing deep fakes do a better job than people who spent the money to CGI that mustache out.
Like, do you know who A-List is? YouTube channel.
Yes.
A-List Productions. He's a better editor than whoever edited that movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like there's nothing
good about it.
Yeah. There's nothing redeeming about Superman. Like, I mean, it's just yeah. Every time I see Superman in that movie, I cringe because I'm just
Also, not to mention, like, Batman is so bad. In
yeah.
that movie.
Yeah.
He just makes jokes that aren't funny.
Yeah.
And everything has to have some humor added on that doesn't make it any better.
Yeah, it's just it's unnatural and
Also, Cyborg and Flash aren't characters.
yeah, no. Like Cyborg especially, like there's just nothing there to
They're glorified cameos.
I mean Flash they try a little bit more than Cyborg, but what they try with him just isn't it's not funny. It's not there's nothing good about it.
And he only has like 2 scenes of backstory.
It's just like, "Hey, you guys like brunch?" I don't.
Whoever wrote that dialogue about brunch should be fired.
Yeah, those reshoots in general, like even in the theater when I watched this, like fucking stood out.
There's like a bunch of continuity errors between scenes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's. I watched yesterday. Or last night. I was just going through stuff, and somebody pointed out all of the continuity errors between Joss's scenes and whatever they put in of Zack Snyder's, and like Jesus Christ, it's bad.
Or how about this? I hear you talk to fish.
That was no, that's it. Oh yeah, that's right. That's a Joss Whedon thing.
Yeah, that's a Joss line.
I actually didn't mind that because
I
it
don't
wasn't
mind
done
it.
in such a cringy way.
It's just everything has to be a joke.
I don't care. I mean, that scene in particular, like it's not as cringy as everything else, but I still don't like it because like literally everybody, whenever Aquaman's in anything, they always bring up the fact that he talks to fish, and it's getting tired.
Actually, technically, he doesn't talk to fish.
Yeah, no, he doesn't.
Yeah, he communicates in a completely different way than what people always say.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not.
Also,
it's not the water either, which that was a fucking stupid line.
Also, let's mention that stupid scene where Bruce is just just arguing with Diana for no reason.
Oh, you mean Diana's ass? because it's literally all like every shot is just it's just her
Also,
ass.
also, not to mention, he reused a scene from Age of Ultron in this movie
He
with
reused a
Flash and
bunch of
Wonder Woman.
material from Age of Ultron.
Yeah, he reused the characters arguing with each other for, except it worked in Avengers, but you know.
Also, the whole falling on uh, titties gag, like
No, stop, stop.
that's so sad. Yeah, it's such a
Terrible
shame.
thing.
It's such a shame because like even though like I mean at the time like Zach stuff might not have been the greatest, but I still wouldn't have like I still would have put it out with all of his stuff. I wouldn't have done any reshoots and
It's better than a soulless movie,
yeah. And
which is what Justice League is.
this is the definition of soulless.
And there's nothing worse than a soulless movie. I'll take I'll take a I'll take a bad movie that's completely from that director over a soulless movie.
I would rather watch a bad movie than a bland and boring one.
Yeah, which is why I'd rather watch Batman and Robin than Justice League.
I mean, Batman and Robin though, you can still have fun with Batman and Robin.
Yeah, I mean it's hilarious.
Yeah. But this, like, no, it's nothing here. Um. So yeah. It's just anything else to add before we move on?
It's the worst thing. Period.
Yeah. Swifty.
No.
Okay.
Just this.
Okay.
Burn
Justice
it all.
League can just leave HBO Max, please.
I think we should. I think we should erase any digital presence and then gather all of the DVD copies and burn them to the ground.
Yep. Well, after that disaster, DC, they had a bit of a resurgence, and they're still having this resurgence lately. I mean, there's, you know, I wouldn't say it's all been great, and I'm mostly looking at Wonder Woman 1984, but Aquaman I really enjoyed. Shazam is great.
I really
Shazam is
enjoyed Aquaman.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Aquaman, Shazam, and Wonder Woman 84. Don't get mad at me, Marvel.
Yeah, it's just I think for me, like just personally, I like Aquaman just a smidge better than Shazam, but Wonder Woman 1984, like it's got some good elements, but it's just overall I wouldn't say it's like great. It's more watchable than some other comic book movies out there, but yeah. As for the future, I mean, the future is pretty much looking bright for the DC extended universe.
And here's hoping for a Zack Snyder Justice League sequel.
I'm hoping for it. I really hope that happens. After watching this movie, I tweeted. I was like, dude, I'm actually a believer in Restore the Snyderverse now.
Yes.
But I don't think it should be like the main continuity, but I do think that it should be finished off because I would love to see like his whole idea of, what he wanted to happen.
It'd be it'd be
I like the
it'd be a good way to get people to purchase HBO Max if they just went ahead and be like we're gonna do the whole Zack Snyder Justice League trilogy only on HBO Max, like so.
Yeah.
But I mean, besides that, we got the Flash movie, which looks. I mean, it sounds more interesting every time I, see anything about it.
Also, after seeing the Flash and the Snyder cut, I'm even more excited to see his own movie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, me too. I was immediately more excited.
He was great in it.
Yeah. And also, we got James Gunn doing the Suicide Squad, which
That looks like it's gonna be great,
It's gonna be
and it
fun for sure.
has
Yeah,
one
it
of my
looks fun.
has one of my favorite like intergalactic villains, Starro, and
Actually,
Marvel knows why I love Starro.
Yeah.
well, I actually think they have one of the greatest actors in that movie to ever live, John Cena. No, I'm just kidding.
It's Peter Capaldi.
He's getting his own spin-off on HBO Max.
The Thinker should be getting a spinoff instead of.
It's called You Can't See Me.
It's a good one. Um, uh, I mean, Black Adam. Also, I'm excited about. Shazam 2, whatever the fuck that movie's name is. Like,
Oh, the
It's like
Thunder of the
Fury.
Gods.
Yeah,
oh yeah,
I thought it was
okay,
Fury.
Fury of the Gods, yeah.
okay, yeah, that's it. But
I'm super excited for that because I'm a big Shazam fan.
yeah, yeah, everything, just about everything DC's doing looks, pretty promising.
Bright future.
Definitely a bright future ahead of us.
I
So,
mean, not just movies. I mean, with TV, we got Superman and Lois, Stargirl, that Green Lantern show is coming up,
yeah, that's true.
and Flash this season I think is doing really well,
Yeah,
especially compared to the last few seasons.
yeah, well, that, yeah, we talked about that before, but, um, what would you guys say? What would you guys say is probably the thing you're most looking forward to? And I'm just going to assume it's the Flash, but
The Batman.
The Batman, yeah.
yeah, I was more talking
It's the
about
only one answer.
within the DC, because I mean we're all excited for the Batman.
Well, I mean, the way I see it, and I really like the direction they're going. It's like they're embracing the multiverse, which is very much a DC thing.
Yeah,
So basically, any project is possible,
yeah,
and they don't have to
And they're
worry about sticking to one universe.
mm-hmm.
and they are all interconnected because of the multiverse now.
And
Mhm.
and and,
Like
and
like
if
the
they
Dark
want,
Knight could come back, like theoretically.
and if they want, they could do a big multiverse event and
That'd be cool.
like I would do anything for a scene where we have Tom Welling Superman, Brandon Routh Superman, Henry Cavill, and Tyler Hoechlin in one room.
just title it Crisis, but good this time.
Mm-hmm. Like just erase Crisis, and then make it on HBO Max.
Yeah,
Well, so I guess if we're talking like you said, like um, main DCEU, like the the Snyder characters,
mm-hmm.
um, I would say Flash, definitely, yeah, because that's going to be the most pivotal movie of like what the future of DC is.
Yeah,
Yeah, the two I'm most excited for like the the, the Snyderverse is like Flash and Shazam.
Yeah.
Because I'm a huge Shazam fan.
Yeah, I'd say the Flash, and this is coming from someone who hasn't seen the Snyder Cut yet, but like Flash is really looking interesting. But I would also say like Suicide Squad, like
Yeah,
James
I'm
Gunn's.
pumped for Suicide Squad
Yeah.
because we got my man Star.
But yeah, that's besides those, like that's the thing I'm most excited about for DC going forward is more kind of creator types doing their own versions. Not
Which is what I've wanted from the beginning.
yeah
It feels like they're overcoming their mistakes.
yeah
Well, and not that it's like set in stone, but I am looking forward to seeing in the next few months, if Snyder, if they're gonna greenlight a sequel to Justice League.
I'd love that.
Well,
I'd be like, I could even see it coming out in 2023.
Yeah.
Like, because I mean, originally like Justice League 2 was supposed to come out in 2019, so it's a 2-year gap.
mhm.
Oh yeah.
Well, given its reception, like as of
I
today,
think it's certainly possible.
yeah, it's looking on our bright side, definitely. But
I guess it's time to watch the Snyder Cut an unhealthy amount of times.
yeah,
Dude, I'll be wasting like 40 hours a week just watching the Snyder Cut.
yeah.
I wouldn't call it wasting, actually.
It's
But-
not wasted because it's great.
It's a fucking phenomenal movie. I'm just saying. All right, so yeah,
Well, for all you listening, be sure to tune in next week as we go in depth on the Snyder Cut. You know, giving our opinions
Same
and
bad
know,
time.
same bad
Same
time.
bad channel.
But yeah, be sure to subscribe to these two. They're always like joys.
I'm always joys.
Check out their content, especially. I mean, for AJ's case, you know, we got a video that I may or may not be in. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
He's totally not in it. Just saying.
You just cut me out.
Yeah, it's called the No Marvel Cut.
Yeah.
Hashtag.
release the no Marvel cut.
The no Marvel cut. Yeah, we're gonna cut things off. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share all that fun stuff. Be sure to follow us on everything: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever else, Venmo, whatever accounts are.
What? Do you mean Vimeo?
Yeah. What he said.
Yo, follow me on OnlyFans. No, I'm just kidding. I post premiere Batman cosplays
Subscribe to my Pornhub account. All right, we're off.
You know, Alter did make that tweet the other day.
on there. Well, that's Alter.
Everybody's
Alright,
been
everybody.
asking for his OnlyFans, but
We're- Everybody, so we're off to see The Wizard, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, and we'll see you next Thursday.
we're off to watch the Snyder Cut again and again and again. But anyway, see you guys.
Same bet time, same bet channel.